What up, baby? It's your boy, the ATX Tuner, back with another video, and you now in tune to What the Wednesday, final episode of the season. Man, I enjoy doing What the Wednesdays. This is gonna be the last one, obviously, till next year. I'm still thinking about if I'm gonna start the series back up, either the spring game or if I'm gonna do it August. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all want in the comments. Start off, like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Of course, if you don't want to, don't do it. I don't care. But gotta say it sounds good. So, like, share, subscribe. What the Wednesday season finale. Let's get into it, man. This is the Arizona episode, the Alamo Bowl episode. And of course, if y'all don't remember what the Wednesdays is, it's been a while. It has been a while. So, just to give y'all a little explanation of what the Wednesday consists of, we break down, what did we overreact to after that bowl game? What did we learn from that bowl game? And what can we work on? How can we get better? What do we need to work on when it comes to looking at that Alamo Bowl game? So, you know me. I'm Mr. Positive. I'm Mr. Positive guy. So let's start with what we learned, man. Some good things that we learned. Now, of course, can't do it without good old handy dandy notebook. But let's start off with the man of the hour. Like I said, I started off the last video this way. I'm gonna start it off again, man. Jackson Arnold. What did we learn when we watched Jackson Arnold out there? To me, I felt like I learned that this dude is good under pressure. This dude don't crack under pressure. This dude he a dog for real. He got it in his blood. It's just embedded in him. He stand tall in the pocket when he got to. He gonna get out of there if he got to. He gonna make the play when he got to make the play. That's what I learned about Jackson Arnold, man. I know he's still young, and that's another thing. He made some young mistakes out there. I mean, you can't expect nothing different. I mean, he a young guy. Is he supposed to be a senior this year? I think he's supposed to be a senior in high school this year. I don't know. I could be tweaking. I believe so. But regardless, first start, he showed me plenty of good things where I can look at the future of Oklahoma and say we're in good hands. And of course, that he's getting compared to the Tennessee starter who made his first start or something like that. Like how he had a really good game, all that. One, you didn't play Arizona. I'm not gonna sit and act like I know who they played. I didn't watch the game, but if Oklahoma and Arizona was the top-rated bowl game outside of the playoffs, you didn't play at Arizona. And not to say that he's not a good player, not to say that Tennessee guy's not a good player, but you can't compare the two. I mean, because everybody got their good days, everybody got their bad days, and it was kind of in the middle for Jackson Arnold during that bowl game. A lot of people didn't know if they should be happy about it, or if they should be like, man, we are in trouble. We should have kept DG, So, but just to give y'all what I learned. To me, I learned that he the man. He the future of Oklahoma, and he's gonna take us places that we haven't seen since Kyler Murray. I don't think we went to the playoffs with Jalen Hurts. I don't remember, but playoffs. I could see him taking, and obviously it's a 12-team playoff. It's gonna be easier to get in, but we in the SEC now, so it's not gonna be easier to get in for us, So that's what I learned about Jackson Arnold, man. He the future. It's in his DNA. We don't have to question the man. He got it. What else though? Let's talk about something else I learned. We learned that Galvin Sawchuk is the truth. The truth, nothing but the truth. He a dog. He 15 carries, 134 yards. and Jackson Arnold was throwing the ball. He had like what 45 attempts. So to get 134 yards and 15 carries, it's hard to do that on Madden, on all Madden, man. It's hard to do that. So I'm telling you, Galvin Sawchuk, he the future. Right now, he's our starter going into next year. Right now, if I'm looking at the depth chart, he's our starter. And don't get me wrong, I feel like Tyree Walker did a lot of the heavy lifting throughout the year. When it comes to where we were complaining about, why can't we get this run game established? The only spark at that time was Tyree Walker, which is why I always I always give Tyree his respect. I always say Tyree, he was our starter last year. That's what I always say. It's crazy saying last year, man. It's crazy, but either way, I gave Tyree his Sawchuk. I'm tweaking, y'all. I gave Tyree Walker his props, gave him his roses for being our starter last year. Galvin Sawchuk turn. Especially since we don't know what Tyree doing. Galvin Sawchuk, here's your roses. You the starter going into next year. And don't get me wrong, we got some dogs coming. We got some competition coming. But as of right now, at this very moment, I feel like you are the starter going into next year. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that. So, is that something we learned? I mean, I guess you can say that. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is like his 5th game straight going over 100 yards. So, we kind of expected that. But putting that stamp on it to end the year off, to have that positive energy going into next year, going into the spring, going into the summer workouts, like, hell, winter workouts, like, having that stamp of approval just to end the year off, that's kind of what y'all were worried about Jackson Arnold. Like, y'all wish he would have put that stamp of approval on it so we wouldn't have nothing to even talk about when it comes to negativity towards Jackson Arnold. That's what I feel like Sawchuk did that game. He gave us that stamp of approval. I'm your guy. You got to be, when you come to Oklahoma, whether you a transfer, whether you are a recruit, it don't matter. A walk-on, you got to go through me. That's what Sawchuk was, that's what he told us. That's what I learned from Sawchuk. Now, we 7 minutes in, not doing too bad on time. But let's talk about some things that. Oh wait, no, this is something else that, we'll go through that later, cause that's kind of an overreaction. So we'll do that on the overreaction portion of the video. But let's talk about what we need to work on. To me personally, that secondary, man, was scary, sketchy. Every time, it's never good. And this reminds me so much of Lincoln Riley, which is why I didn't like, it was a hard watching that Arizona game. But it's never good when a quarterback drops back, gets rid of the ball and it's deep, and you just, you don't know what's going to happen at the end. Like, there's nothing worse than that feeling. Like, I can't, like, Trevor Knight, let's just go back into time. Trevor Knight, and I get it. Trevor Knight was a stat packer. I get it, But every time Trevor Knight, you know what? I don't want to disrespect Trevor Knight. He's an Oklahoma legend. Spencer Rattler. Let's use Spencer Rattler as an example. Every time that man dropped back and threw the ball in the air deep, I prayed. I had to pray. Please let this be an accurate ball. Please let this be in the vicinity of a receiver. Please don't let this get intercepted. Without it even the ball as soon as he releases, that's my feeling. And that's the opposite version of what I felt watching that secondary against Arizona. And when that quarterback got rid of the ball, as soon as he released the ball, I'm like, please don't let them catch this. Please don't let there be a wide open receiver with nobody around him. And for the most part, that's exactly what it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. We had that stretch in the second and third quarter where the defense looked really good, and that's a good stretch. That's a good stretch. But we know fourth quarter matters, and of course, if you're on the field all the time, your offense is turning the ball over. Penalties is killing the offensive momentum. You're going to be on the field a lot. So fourth quarter, it's hard to judge a team by having a bad fourth quarter, especially if they've been on the field majority of the game. But that secondary is something that I say we could work on. We need to work on. I know we got the guys. I know we got the coaching staff. Two, I know we got the recruits coming in. The transfers. All of the above. We got the guys to do it. Next year on defense is going to be different than this year on defense. I could see a top 50 defense easy. I could see us being in the top 25 next year for real. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Because that secondary was scary. When you talk about the last thing you see for the year, having some type of encouragement going into the next year, that secondary did not put the stamp on it. Woody Washington, he put the stamp on it on his side, which he will be back next year. I'm gonna have a whole nother video. We're gonna talk about this in Operation Off Season on Sundays. But Woody Washington locked his side of the field down. I think Gentry Williams, he was having a little trouble out there. I don't know if it seemed like there's a lot open in the middle, so I don't know if that has to do with the linebackers, but that's something we need to work on regardless, man. We need to work on that. Because it's not the front seven, it's not the D-line. The D-line was putting pressure on that man. The D-line had that man shivering. The D-line was doing their thing out there. And for these receivers to be wide open, I don't know if it's just the blitz packages that were being called or what the case may be. But damn near every time that quarterback let go of the ball, I'm sitting here praying, please don't let there be a man wide open, which there was for the most part. So that's something we could work on for sure. Offensive line, I'm gonna go ahead and say that, man. That's something that it's not fair to put in the worked on category, but it is something we need to work on. It is something that our offense is lacking. It's the only thing that our offense is lacking. If Oklahoma I've said this before, it's true. If Oklahoma can solidify an offensive line, a solid offensive line going into next year, with everybody on defense returning damn near, everybody on defense is returning actually. So with that fact, meaning that defense is only going to get better. We got the quote unquote old guys that are younger than me returning, and when they could have went to the league, they could have got their bread, they could have got their cheese, but they decided to stay at Oklahoma and wear the crimson and cream. Like, that's love. That's what you ain't gonna get at Missouri. You're not gonna see that at Missouri. A little shot for y'all, but I think that offensive line, I don't think we have to worry about it. Let me put it that way. I feel like the offensive line going into next year is going to be secure. Let's put it that way. Jackson Arnold is not going to be running for his life. And don't get me wrong, the SEC got some dogs out there on the D line. But I feel like Bill Bedenbaugh is going to do his due diligence, and he is going to make this thing shake. He's going to bring in the right guys. He's going to be able to develop. Anybody that wants to be coached by Bedenbaugh, they want to be developed. They want to become the best lineman they can be. They want to be that. They want to go to the league. It's not about the money necessarily. Don't get me wrong. We pay too. Rocky back there going crazy. Anyway, but we pay too. Don't get me wrong. But it's not. We know it's not about that at Oklahoma. Even though you can get the bag at Oklahoma, you best believe that the bag is secondary. It's about the team first. It's about the community. It's about winning. Okay? Yeah, that's something that I think we need to work on to that O-line, which we all know. Um, Now let's get into what I overreacted to, man. And what we all overreacted to, or even what y'all overreacted to, maybe something I didn't necessarily overreact to as well. But to start off with something that I overreacted to, we're going to continue with that offensive line. Now, after watching the Oklahoma breakdown, like, share, subscribe to those guys, legends, Oklahoma legends. I realized that I was trashing that offensive line in the reaction video. I was trashing that offensive line, but after watching that video, that podcast, I looked at that and I looked at myself in the mirror and was like, what does a grown man turning 30 in a little over a month that stopped playing high school football because he got hurt his junior year. What does he know? What does he know more than a college football legend, NFL player, NFL caliber offensive lineman? Who is little old me to call the offensive line trash when you have somebody who has done it all, who knows how to critique an offensive line, who watches the game and watches the offensive line? Who am I to say anything different than what he had to say? So I'm going to reiterate what he said. The offensive line didn't play that bad. They didn't do that bad, like I overreacted to at the beginning. Jackson Arnold was running for his life, don't get me wrong, but he could have been, he was holding the ball. He was holding the ball a good amount, He didn't get rid of the ball as quickly as BG would have, but you can't expect that, obviously. And especially that's going to really affect you when you're playing a good team with a collage of offensive line. You can't really. You gotta get rid of the ball, and if your first read might not be there, he might have valid reasons for holding the ball. Don't get me wrong, but regardless, that didn't help out that offensive line a lot. But something I will say is Jackson Arnold, the way he played, actually did help that offensive line a lot. Granted, they didn't look as bad as I made it out to be in the beginning. They didn't look that bad, but that's something that we need to work on. We need to get better at. But it's also something I overreacted to. What else? Something that y'all overreacted to. This is something y'all overreacted to, not something that I overreacted to. But Farouk, man, don't get me wrong. I cannot sit here and say that if he didn't, without Farouk's turnovers, we're not losing that game. So did Farouk lose the game for us? In a way, you can look at it. Yes, you can say that. But he had like 4 catches for 57 yards or something like that. I mean, yeah, he could do more, don't get me wrong. Jackson Arnold threw the ball 45 times, so he could have did more. I don't know how many drops he possibly had. But Farouk had a tough year this year when it comes to turnovers. Don't get me wrong. He had a tough year this year when it came to turnovers. A lot of them hurt. None of them hurt like they did in the Alamo Bowl. Don't get me wrong. But we've seen Farouk do great things. If not great, very good things. We've seen him do this. This year. I mean, last year, we saw him do it. We saw him stand out. When freaking Andrew Anthony went out and he got hurt in the Texas game, Farouk low-key stepped up and became that monster. And then don't get me wrong, that also led to the growth of Nick Anderson also. But to say Farouk needs to transfer, to say that, you know, just to trash him the way I've seen Farouk getting trashed, it's not fair to him, man. You're gonna have a bad game. You're gonna have some games you regret. It happens. It happens. That we overreacted to that. That's something y'all really overreacted to. We can't really expect somebody to just be flawless. Don't get me wrong. There might be some guys out there where you look at them and it's hard to find a flaw, but nobody's flawless, man. Especially in the NFL. Tom Brady had bad games. Who's your favorite player? He had a bad game. Who's your favorite player? He probably had a bad year. It happens. No need to overreact to him. No need to talk down on him. No need to try to run him out of Oklahoma. Because at the end of the day, yeah, that wide receiver room is stacked and it's getting stackeder. But we need all the talent we can get. We need all the talent we can keep. And wasn't Farouk a Riley guy? If Farouk, I don't know. Remind me in the comments. But I believe that Farouk was a Riley guy. And if you look at these Riley guys who clearly on defense staying another year, offense, I mean, hell, Drake Stoops, he stayed as long as he possibly could. Farouk, Lord willing, say the same. He coming back next year. I mean, these Lincoln Riley guys that are here, these are the guys that you want to keep here. You want to keep these guys here because they are strictly here for the love of Oklahoma. You cannot, there's nobody in these locker rooms that loves Oklahoma more than the Lincoln Riley guys who stayed. You got to give them their props, man. We can't be pushing no Lincoln Riley guy out the window, out the door because they messed up or whatever. They stayed. They decided to ride the 6 and 7 train. They knew it wasn't going to be pretty. Hell, when Lincoln Riley left, they didn't know what was going to happen. But they stayed. They thugged it out. And they still here producing. So, be easy on Farouk, man. He don't deserve to be trashed like he's being trashed. Yeah, he did technically lose us the game. But we know Alamo Bowl. It's not a playoff game. I don't even think it'll be a playoff game next year. So, honestly, it didn't matter for a lot of reasons. It didn't matter when it came to the win and loss. Everything in between the win and loss mattered, So, yeah, man. Season finale. What the Wednesday. Tune in next year, this year later on, probably thinking about. I'm leaning towards doing it in August and just doing maybe if I go to the spring game this year, maybe do like a vlog or something, have me, the wife, just show y'all our experience, while we out in Oklahoma, doing our thing. That's what I'm leaning towards for the spring game. So it probably won't be a What the Wednesdays there. I'm thinking I'm keeping that in season until the end of the season. So, yeah, there's plenty updates. We know, there's a lot of updates. I'm sure y'all have heard plenty of us Oklahoma greats covering this Oklahoma content. I love all y'all out there. Keep producing that content. Keep doing your thing. It inspires me to keep going, and I hope I inspire y'all to keep going. We got to stick together, Oklahoma. But future, this is what we got going on at this channel, the ATX Tuna, your boy. This is what you can expect going into the off season. Okay? Every Saturday or every Sunday, look at me, I'm already messing up. Every Sunday in the off season, whether it's this setup, whether I got a different setup, whether I, and we moving in May, so whether we ain't even in this place, we doing Operation Off Season. Operation Off Season is pretty much gonna cover whatever happened that week. You know, so for instance, let's say Sunday coming up. We're gonna talk about a recap of the full season. We might break it down game by game. We might get some expectations in for next year. Recruiting updates, of course. Returning players, we gotta get it. We gotta give them they love. Like I just said, them Lincoln Riley boys that's deciding to stay need their love. They deserve it more than anybody. They deserve it more than anybody. So that's kind of what more of the same, more of what you get from every other YouTube channel. Is just me gonna be the one doing the speaking, and it's gonna be once a week, every Sunday. I'm gonna be jotting down things in this good old handy dandy notebook. That way that I can have a full week of topics to cover on one day. And it might be episodes might range. It's gonna be more of a podcast type of deal. So episodes might range from 25 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. We're gonna be talking and shooting the shit. Eventually, I might go live with some stuff. Never went live yet. Kind of like, I don't know about the live videos yet. Just because, not because I'll mess up or anything like that. I just want the quality to be there. Even though I'm literally just sitting in front of a computer screen with a microphone in my face. You wouldn't say this is the best quality, but we want to get better. We want to get better, so that's the goal. So yeah, man, all off season long, Operation Off Season will be in effect. We're gonna start this year off, season 1. Or you know what? We should say off season 1, episode 1, coming this Sunday. So I'm gonna try. You'll see the growth over each video. I'm gonna eventually add a little intro video. I'm gonna go to the studio, make a song for it. I'm gonna have fun. Don't get me wrong. We having fun with this channel. So thank y'all for tuning in, man. It's your boy, the ATX Sooner. Season finale of What the Wednesdays, late edition. We got the lights on. I came home late from work today, so we got the lights on. And yeah, man, thank y'all for rocking with me. Stay tuned for the future content coming out. And who knows, I might be working with some people, might be collabing with some people. Hell, my little brothers are talking about they want to be a part of it too. So, I mean, you might see some family members on here just shooting the shit. And I'll have an explicit content warning because when they join, it gets there. It gets there. So, that's just speculation, just throwing ideas out, coming off the top of the dome right now. We freestyling. But we going to freestyle to the top, baby. That's what we going to do. And y'all know why that's what we gonna do. We all gonna freestyle to the top. It's because it's in our DNA, man. I probably could have did better than that. I ain't gonna lie, but bye.